Make the most out of your time at work
with Karen Gately, Leadership and People Management Specialist.
Karen, usually you come on every Monday morning, we have a little bit of a laugh and we work our way through workplace issues. But right now, there isn't really a lot to laugh about. A lot of people are very, very concerned about businesses, small businesses across the country shutting down. We are in a very unique time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, again, obviously everybody who's commented on this prior has said it, you know, it's unprecedented. There's so much that we're needing to work out and answers to questions and, you know, at the end of the day with uncertainty, it's a scary time for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So we heard the Prime Minister come out in a press conference last night saying that as of midday today, restaurants and cafes will be takeaway only, so they're changing the way they operate. Clubs, pubs, cinemas, casinos, nightclubs all closed from midday today. So we are dealing with a lot of industries where there might be casual workers or people working just some hours where these people may not have a source of income for the coming months.
Absolutely, and I certainly am encouraged that at least there's some conversation happening, you know, with the government around, you know, what do we actually do to support those members of our community?
Yep.
Because I think particularly for the casual workforce, this is an incredibly difficult moment, you know, if those businesses are closed. I think that, you know, obviously for those who are permanent employees, we've got a little bit of, hopefully, room to move around leave balances. But again, if we don't, then the very real reality is people are facing periods of time with less to no income.
Yeah, that is incredibly scary. I mean, we would be speaking to people right now that would be waking up this morning with that anxious feeling in their stomach that they feel like that conversation is coming, whether today or in the coming days. What can you do? I mean, if you feel like, a firing conversation or a letting go conversation is coming, is there really anything you can do to prepare yourself for that?
I think the only thing any of us can do through this time is to choose our thoughts. You know, again, we can get overwhelmed or consumed by what does this mean, what's going to happen next, how am I going to survive this period? Or we can focus on what we can control.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I think it would be naive to suggest that, just don't worry about it. Well, clearly, if you've got no income coming through, that is something to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But getting to a place where we're so anxious that we're a frozen moment, you know, we can't think, we can't operate, and we're ultimately undermining our well-being because we're so stressed is clearly not the way to go either. So I think, you know, this is a time to stick together. I think this is a time where have conversations, you know, with your peers that are in similar situations, connect with, you know, other family and friends, to start to think, you know, what's the battle plan? So, for example, you know, we're in a very fortunate situation to be able to say to my son who's in the hospitality industry, hey, if times get tough, move home, bring your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, for the next 3 or 4 months at least to kind of get through that. Now, obviously, we're lucky enough we've got the room and the inclination, we want our kid back at our house.
Yeah, sure.
That situation. But I guess the key message there is to reach out and to talk to the people around you about how can we actually live in calms and get through this time, because, you know, the only advantage we have is we're all in it. We're all
That's right.
at the same time together. So, you know, again, let's, as neighbours, as friends, as family members, let's look for opportunities to support those people through.
I love that. Show your support for other people. Let's use your son as an example. So you're saying, you know, he's in the hospitality industry. He may be facing time with no work over the coming months. He's got a mother that works as a HR specialist. What would you encourage him to do should he have some time on his hands over the coming weeks, months?
He could clean my car. There's a number of those types of things that could go on. But no, jokes aside, you know, I do think in his particular case, he's got lots of career ambitions and things that he wants to pursue over time. This might be an opportunity to take at least the opportunity to stop and think about, you know, what directions does he want to go in, to spend some time exploring the potential education he wants to pursue around that. It could even be a time where a lot of businesses are not operating in terms of everyone in the office right now. A lot are still actually running their businesses remotely, etc. So, it could be a time to be making phone calls, getting connected around work experience opportunities. So again, I kind of feel like the world has been forced to slow down.
Yeah.
We have no option but to slow down. So then the question is, well, what's the ideal thing we can do when we're forced to slow down? And perhaps a little bit of contemplation and clarity and planning is something that we can do through this time, and that would include for my son.
I think that is great advice. So as you said, it's something that we're all going through together. Karen, this is an evolving situation and one that we'll continue to touch on in coming weeks. We are so glad to have your support. Thank you so much. Karen Gately, our HR specialist.